On today's hot sheet, I'm discussing a record low share of first-time homebuyers, the ADP Employment Report, and mortgage applications for the past week. Today is Wednesday, November 5, 2025. I am Byron Lazine, and the hot sheet starts now. Live from my last day here in Las Vegas. Looking forward to love Las Vegas, by the way. Okay, love Las Vegas. Fantastic city. It's all, I mean, this is the center of a lot of things, certainly social media, YouTube world, and that kind of stuff. But love my time here, but ready to go. Ready to head on back. Let me know where you are tuning in from today. It's a pleasure to be with you wherever you may be. This is the only 24-hour look back on the housing market Monday through Thursday, designed for real estate professionals. It's live on the internet every single week. It's an honor to do it. It's an honor to be with all of you guys. So, all right, we've got this NAR drop on the. Now, listen, you know that I'm somebody who wants to hold NAR, National Association of Realtors, is love Las Vegas. I love it, Ruthie, and I love you. You're amazing. You know that if certainly don't talk about NAR a lot here on the hot sheet. So if the only content you're kind of engaged with here from a BAM perspective is this show, the hot sheet, then there's not much discussion that we have on NAR. They're just not a relevant topic of the day on this particular show. But if you've consumed the Real Word, for example, the Real Word Pod, which is here on the live on the main channel, rather, not on the live feed, but on the video feed, then I enjoy holding NAR to account. I have opinions and just belief that they're doing a lot wrong. I'm also of the belief that NAR is likely better changed, improved, than dismantled. All right. And that's a whole nother kind of discussion, very long discussion. But one of the things NAR does do very well, I put advocacy at the top, is when they do these profiles of home buyers and sellers. And they've dropped their 2025 profile of home buyers and sellers. And inside of this report, okay, and Haley, if you could just go to the slides here. Inside of this report, NAR has found that 21% first-time home buyers has fallen to 21%. And I don't know if we have a chart for that. Haley, do we have a slide for that? First-time home buyer percentage coming in at 21%. We might not. I guess we don't. We have a whole bunch of charts here, all in BAMX. I'll get to those here in a second. All right. So headline number is that number, 21%, record low. Okay. For all of the buyers, that means 1 out of 5 first-time home buyers typically see more first-time home buyers. Okay. The typical buyer age right now is 59 years old. Okay. The repeat buyer age is 62 years old. So you've got 62 years old as a repeat buyer, average age or typical age, and 59 on the repeat. The big news though here is the first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers now in this country, the average age, the highest. I mean, this chart you can see in front of you, and this slide is available inside of BAMX. You can download all the slides. Try BAMX for free. Go to school.com/BAMX. This goes all the way back to 1981 when the median age of home buyers was 29 years old. 40 years old is by far the largest on the dot plot going back to 1981. It's increased from the mid 30s just 2 years ago to 40. It was down near 30 by the end of 2021. And so you've almost put a decade here over the last couple of years between where first-time homebuyer median age was, or the median age of homebuyers. I'm sorry. The median age, or no, I'm sorry, first-time homebuyers, yes, 30 years old to now 40 in basically 3+ years. If you look at this chart, and if you look at, not to get political at all, but if you look at this chart and then you look at the New York City mayor race yesterday, and you dig into the, like, okay, what were the voter demographics that voted for Mamdani? If you look at that, you see a ton of young voters. Okay, particularly the under 30-year-olds that voted in the New York City mayoral race. The under 30-year-olds was overwhelmingly on Mamdani, like 85% went and cast their vote for Mamdani. And he ran a campaign on this problem, on the fact that young people are like, dude, I only see 40-year-olds and up buying homes. I'm 28. The feeling for young people is that they're not going to get there, or it's going to take 12 years, and the median average age backs that up. Obviously, one of the constraints there over the last 3 years is the obvious, the rates. Now, it's not the entire problem. I'm not trying to say it is, but the rates are exacerbating this problem, and that's clear. This number has increased dramatically since rates have ratcheted up. Adult compensation of first-time homebuyers in this report, adult compensation,
Composition.
compensation, that or yes, composition. Thank you, Haley. 50% are married. Okay, that number's dramatically down. 1981, 68%. Now, it's been on a decline for some time. It's not just a couple of year thing, but 50% married. 25% single female. That number is up from recent years, and it's in line with like the 90s, where it kind of peaked at this 25% level. It's back at basically the historical high. Single females, first-time homebuyer. Okay, if you look at unmarried couple, that's 11%. That's down over the last 3 years. And it's way up from 1981, where it was 0%. 10% on single male. That number is kind of just in line with where it's been historically. That would be the one number that's essentially moving primarily flat. I mean, it was 13% in 81. It's 10% now, and it's had a little bit of movement, obviously, over the years, but kind of in line with where it's always been. And then you have 4% other. So, that's just interesting. I don't think there's anything really necessary to pull from there, other than there's just not as many married first-time homebuyers as there was in 1981. You do have that increase in unmarried couple from 81 to today. You go up 11%, so that's probably pulled away from that number, would be how I would look at that. Okay, just moving into the first-time homebuyers percentage. Hey, if you can go to that bar chart, the percentages of first-time homebuyers from 81 to that one, the blue bars. Yep, perfect. You can see here that you got to go. Now, this is the lowest level we've seen, but you got to go back to like 2022. Obviously, 2024, these numbers are low, but before that, you got to go back to 2018 and like really, or 1987 to get anywhere close to this level. 1987, it was 30, just about 30%. Everything else on the chart here is well above 30%. You've got years like in 2009 and 2010. What did you have during those years? If you were a first-time home buyer and you had great credit in 2009 and 2010, you had high affordability. Even though rates were higher, home prices had come down, and we're in the process of recovering from the GFC. And so you've got, upwards of 50% in 2010 first-time home buyers. Now there was a suppression of transactions during that time as well. 1981, 44%. You go back to 81 and you have more than double the percent distribution of buyers were first-time home buyers in this country. Highest education achieved by household head. NAR dug into this, some interesting stuff here. Okay, so you've got masters at 25%, bachelors at 26%, and you've got 15% on associate degree, some graduate school 7%, doctoral is 6%. So the majority of, or I'd say 4 out of 5 of these homeowners are degreed up, and 1 out of 5 with no college degree. So, putting the data in front that, hey, more education has worked out for those that are looking to achieve home ownership. Now, I don't know that there's a straight line between that with how debt works on college education. And I think that's where a lot of these young people that we just mentioned, that talking about, these under 30s, are very frustrated, straddled with debt. Debt has increased so much on college education that I would imagine in the future, those numbers probably change a little bit. Prior living arrangement right now. So this is 89 to 2025. This is prior living arrangement of first-time home buyers. 65% owned a previous home. Okay, so it's like, well, how is that? Well, you can qualify as being a first-time home buyer with having owned a home, in the past. Okay, so that shows you that's why that age is higher. People are qualifying to be a first-time home buyer who have owned, maybe they sold, cashed out, rented for a period of time, whatever the case may be. 65% are in that category, and that's the highest number we've seen since 89. Rented an apartment or house is at 24%. So you're not seeing, this is the lowest level going all the way back, 35, 36 years. This is the lowest level, 24% of first-time home buyers going from renting into buying. So 1 out of 4 first-time home buyers is currently renting right now. Like if I'm an agent and I'm marketing primarily to, renters to help them achieve home ownership, I need to understand that there's less of that category who is deciding to make that move, or is confident enough in the financials or have the education and the process presented to them where they can make that decision. 1 out of 4. That number's been as high as 50%. Go back to, again, during the GFC recovery. Go back to just kind of like normalized years, 2014 and 15 and 16. You have up over 40% of first-time home buyers were previously renting. Okay, their prior living arrangement was that. Lived with parents, relatives, friends, 9%. It's not uncommon from what we've seen over the years. If you go back to 89, it was 6%. So it's improved some. It's down certainly over the last couple of years. And then just rented the home, ultimately purchased. So you're renting the home and then you purchase that. That's usually a private deal. It's 2%. That's kind of about where it's been. I've done that in the past. That's kind of a rare strategy where a rare situation where it's like, oh, I'd like to buy this from you. Would you actually like to sell it to me? You need to have two parties, obviously, that agree for that. All right, the primary reason for the timing of the home purchase, it was just the right time. The buyer was ready, 45%. Did not have much choice, had to purchase, 20%. It was the best time because of the availability of home sales, 13%. The buyer wished they had waited, only 4%. It was the best time because of affordability of homes, 4%. Probably not finding a lot of, people would sign off on that right now. It's the best time because of mortgage financing options available, 3%. And so if you're looking at the 2025, outlook, yeah, mortgage financing options, low number 3%, and other is 12%. All right. I'll make sure I link everything up, or it's already linked up rather, inside of school. Just BAMX members jump in there. You can pull this. There's an article on nowbam.com. Digs into some of this data, a little bit more lengthy report. One of the better reports for NAR that they do. And so valuable information that you can use, certainly in your one-on-one communications. There's so much there. You could probably plan out your next, 60 days of communications, whether it be email, via text, in terms of just educating your database on the market. Just in that one report, there's some valuable stuff in there. All right, ADP. We're not getting much or any government data as we continue to move forward in this government shutdown on jobs. The labor market was clearly weakening before the shutdown. Jerome Powell said as much, and they were acknowledging a lot of that government data that they had access to. Haven't had that government data on jobs now for upwards of 6 weeks with this shutdown. We have seen anecdotal evidence of a continued weakening labor market. Amazon's announcements, UPS, could point to both of those two as evidence of that. Now, we do have private data from ADP. Okay, private data from ADP suggests that private sector employment increased by 42,000 jobs in October. So that was led by education, healthcare, trade sectors. Annual pay grew 4.5% year over year. Now, this marked the first increase since July. So we had 2 months of weak hiring. Now we have a first increase in July. So private sector employment, remember, this is hiring. So this is not accounting for, this is not an unemployment discussion. This is not a layoff discussion. This points to a rebound from where we've been on hiring the last couple of months. Annual pay growth, 4.5%. That's not up much from previous months. And the industry breakdowns, again, good producing services industries moves up 9,000. Natural resources moves up 7,000. Construction up 5,000. That's, to me, a good sign. Construction plus 5,000. If you see construction laying off at scale, you could point to almost every time that happens that the greater economy heads into recession. Service providing industries were up plus 33,000. Trade led the way with 47. Trade, transportation, utilities led the way with plus 47,000. Information down 17,000. Financial activities up 11,000. Professional business services down 15,000. Education, health services plus 26,000. If we go regional here, the regional breakdown, you got the Northeast moved down 12,000. New England was up 7,000, but the Mid-Atlantic was down 20,000. Mid-Atlantic, obviously, looking at DC in that region as a possibility, because it's not just the government jobs. It's jobs, obviously, that kind of make their money off the government. Midwest, 9,000 to the positive. South plus 6,000. And the West was up 40,000, the biggest region gainer there on private jobs. Neela Richardson, ADP chief economist, says private employers added jobs in October for the first time since July, but hiring was modest relative to what we reported earlier in this year. So a little bit of a bounce up off the map, but off the mat rather, but nothing to get crazy about. Pay growth largely flat at the plus 4.5%, but pay growth is happening. All right, mortgage applications, the exciting news of the week. Is it exciting? Mortgage applications on the headline, the total mortgage applications fell 1.9% for the week ending October 31st. The 30-year fixed came in that week at the 6.3. Remember, we lost some momentum before Jerome Powell. Purchase activity, the one that we care about, down 1% weekly, but up 26% year over year. So a 1% move down week over week in a time of year where we expect move downs is as expected. Nothing really to report there. If that number was 5-6%, then that show you that this kind of 6.25%, 6.3% is putting a lot of pressure on would-be applicants, but down 1% week over week. To me is actually positive. I'll take that. 26% year over year continues this long running streak of double-digit weeks, multiple weeks in a row of double-digit growth year over year. Refinance applications, interestingly enough, up 151% for the same week versus 2024 levels. Both refinances and mortgage applications on the whole are trending towards 30-year low levels. But we are seeing that momentum. Joel Kahn talked about this, who's the vice president and deputy chief economist for Mortgage Bank Association. Despite that decline in refinances, their applications are still way higher than last year. The decline obviously came when you lost some of that momentum on the 30-year fixed. Purchase applications declined slightly a week ago, he says. However, there was a slight increase in FHA purchase applications as prospective homebuyers continue to seek loan options to help manage challenging affordability conditions. Everything focusing still around that. And I think you're going to continue to hear that over the next couple of months for sure, and beyond. All right, 10-year Treasury, 4.126 here on the read today. So that's actually up. It's not great when we're going to be tracking the 30-year fix later today. Probably going to get a little bit of a bump up there. Still not at the high levels of the last 90 days. Remember back in July and into August, we were up at 1 point over 4.4 and 4.3. So 4.124, not where we've been, where we broke that 4 level, but certainly a little bit higher than we've been recently, but not as high as we have been at other points in the last 90 days. 6.33 on the 30-year fixed mortgage came in yesterday. That was a tick down from the 6.34 that we started the week at. Probably remain at this level or slightly above as the readings come in today, outside of any changing news on the day. How are the markets doing after the big election day? What do we got here? What do we got for opening markets as we go into this Wednesday? We've got stocks a little changed. Dow's up, S&P's up, Nasdaq's up, all up slightly. Tech stocks under pressure a little bit, but investors didn't really care about those elections and seemingly continuing to not spend much worry on the government shutdown. So there you go. I would agree with Frank. The government shutdown probably not helping those rates though, and we're seeing that in that bond market, but not in the equity market. All right, there you go. There's your hot sheet for the week. I'll be looking forward to being back with you guys tomorrow in studio. Until then, have a great day, and of course, toodaloo.